Hey everybody, this is going to be my first video on the series of Qt Creator videos. I'd just like to start off by saying welcome to the channel. For anybody who's actually watched the introductory YouTube video or whatever, hey, that's awesome. Glad to have you around. So let's get started. First thing to do is to go into Firefox or whatever web browser that you're using. I use Firefox just because. And what we're going to do is we're going to install Visual Studio. So this is going to actually be the Visual Studio route of installing the Qt Creator. And what Visual Studio is going to allow us to do is use the compiler that's built in for Windows, which is really nice. It's awesome to be able to do that. The other route is to use MinGW, which I think some people actually prefer, but I prefer using the Visual Studio route just because I know that it's pretty widely supported by, all the guys at Microsoft. So we're going to go to the Visual Studio downloads. If you don't already have it, then you're going to have to download it. So you can actually grab that Visual Studio 2015 or whichever you want, really, and that's going to give you the compiler for Qt Creator to actually use. So what I typically do is I go into Visual Studio, just the latest one, and I grab the desktop version because I always develop desktop apps. So just hit download and it'll walk you through the install process. So once that's done and you have Visual Studio installed, preferably desktop, you're going to head on over back to Google, everybody's best friend, and grab the Qt Creator. And this web page should pop up if you're just going on the home page, and you should be able to go up to this top bar and hit the download button. And now this first question is kind of important because if you're just starting out and you're just developing some apps or whatever, and you're not really going to be providing this to anybody else, then you're probably going to have to use the in-house deployment. I'm going to be basically revealing all of the things that I do as open source distribution. So I clicked the open source and I said yes because I'm perfectly fine with the open source GPL license and LGPL license. I think they're both pretty nice, and I think that if somebody wants your application or wants your talent set bad enough, an open source license isn't really going to affect you financially, unless you are, of course, trying to profit from your application, in which case you're going to have to buy a developer license. So if you're all set with that and you're fine with open source and LGPL, GPL licensing, you can hit the Get Started, and it will send you with a download now. And what you're actually going to need to do is you're going to have to register with Qt when you run this executable. You're going to have to set up like a username and password, and I have mine saved, somewhere on my computer where I can easily access it because there's just too many usernames and passwords in this day and age. So that's basically the installation process. You just go to the download page for Visual Studio. You want to install Visual Studio first so that Qt Creator will automatically detect the compiler from Visual Studio when you install Qt. So that is that. That's basically all there is for install, and then once you have it installed, you should just be able to pull it up. Maybe you're using Windows 7 or Windows 8, but I have Windows 10, and I can just type in Qt, and I can bring it up. And so this is a very powerful tool for just developing like C++ applications. Alright, so in the next video we're going to go over just about basics of compiling and how to import OpenCL for a 32-bit or a 64-bit application. So see you then.